Her smile shines as bright as the stars at night. Her heart is as kind as can be. She has the patience of a saint, but if you push her, oh Lordy. A straight talker is Smiley. She's the salt of the earth. Make no mistake, she matters. Catch Smiley's story on a live stream. Oh boy, that girl can matter. Go Smiley. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. Missing posters and stories of heartache and fear. She tells us all of the heartbreaking tears. She can sniff out the guilty from a mile away. If Smiley's on the case, then she's here to stay. She cares about these missing children. She cares deeply about them all. She speaks the truth with integrity. For the truth, she will seek it all. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. Smiley's questions are like a heat-seeking missile. She's going straight for the bullseye. Don't ever believe you can fool her. She's too wise, man, she won't comply. She values freedom like the 4th of July. She values respect even more. If you want to earn a place at Smiley's table, watch the clock, it takes time for sure. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. If you break her trust, you're done for. Trust don't grow back like grass. So don't give Smiley a reason to doubt you, or that friendship will shatter like glass. She's a damn good woman, that much we know. She puts in the hours to bring them kids home. If your child is missing, you want Smiley on the case. She is always willing and she gives so much grace. She's a Smiley, alright. She's a Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out.
Whoops. Sorry, I was a little bit late. I apologize. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Hello, hello, hello. Who have we got here? Miss Janice. Thank you, Miss Janice, for the trigger warning. Hello, Not Crazy by Crazy Lady. Hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. Let me see here. Juicy Jules. Hey. Good to see you. Welcome in. And Show Poodles. There's that beautiful poodle. Gypsy Girl. Hello. Hello. Carolyn K. Hello. Hey. Don't know what else to fit in touch with you, but Gary wanted to make sure you got his letter and you could read. I did. He wants me to read it out loud. Okay. Yes, but I will. Yes, if that's okay, I'll do it. Can I do it on another stream? I can fire up one after this one tonight, and I will do that. But I did. Absolutely, I did. Hold on just a minute. I'm going to do something here. I'm going to, after this, I can fix a stream after this and do it. So, yes, I did. Thank you for that, Carolyn. And if somebody wants to also put my email address up, they sure can. And you can do that. Yeah, I can do that. I was debating on, Carolyn, whether, hey, Michelle and everybody coming in, I was debating on whether, I wasn't sure to, you know, if I had permission or if they want me to read it online or what I should do. So, yes, thank you. I will definitely do it. I will. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Woo! Thank you, Mike. What I'll do is I'll fix a live after this. I'll take a little break after this and fix a live. And if y'all don't mind, and I will do it because, yeah, I just didn't want to step on anybody's. Mike, that is very generous. Mike is always very generous. Thank you so much. And Caroline, and let's see, and anybody, I hope I didn't miss anybody coming in. I know I have been gone all day long pretty much. And so I'm still trying to catch up with some stuff, but I had this done before I left today. And see, hold on a minute. See, I'm in the dark. But I left today. I got my hair did. But I ain't got no makeup on, y'all. So, I got the whole nails, the whole 9 yard. Hey, Ava. Hello, everybody, for coming in. Good to see you. I appreciate you so much. And I'm trying to figure this out. Hold on. So what I want to do is, hey, J. Marie. Hello, everybody. So what I want to do is, before I literally, and J. Marie, since you're in here, is there any more news? Yay, nay, or the same? Because good to see you. Yes, everybody. Thank you for being here. Because what I want to do, I want to tell everybody that, and I hope I didn't miss anything. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me look here. Hold on just a minute. The same. Okay. Thank you. All right. So what I want to do is, before I do get started though, most of you know Miss Christine, 55555, all fives, has been very ill. And I caught the end of she's been doing her journey on here. She was in the Summer Wells case, loves Summer to death, and has nothing but great respect for everybody in the community. Really more than she got from me or anybody else. Although I love Miss Christine. She loves everybody. Miss Christine is very beautiful, and she's been on a hard journey, and she's not doing so good right now. I had to leave there earlier because when they started talking about the hospice and stuff after Miss Daisy come on, because I just went through that recently myself with my mom, so I just couldn't handle it. I found out through Matthews when I went in Matthews as well. But my understanding is yesterday her organs, kidneys and stuff like that, has started to shut down. So please, everybody, if you will, please pray for her and her family. They already told them to call the children in. And if you don't know about her journey, somebody dropped that link in my chat. But that's Miss Christine 5555. And I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Carolyn. Thank you to everybody. Yeah, she's beautiful inside and out. She's a very sweet lady. She's a very sweet lady. She loves everybody. Everybody. Everybody the same. So I want y'all to pray for her. I want you to pray for Miss Millie, our beautiful mod. Let's just say she's had some bad news lately. Miss Ann, hello. Prayers for Miss Ann. Always prayers for Miss Ann. Prayers for a lot of people here, but right now, I think we need to send all of our prayers and all of our strength over to Miss Christine and her family right now. So I wanted to say that. But I thank you all for being here. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Did I see Diamonds in here? Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you. There it is. Thank you, Not Crazy. So if y'all want to follow Miss Christine's journey, this is her link. Please go follow it. I think she was very brave to do that and put her journey out. And you'll see what an array of light she is and how strong she really is. So prayers to all that need them. That's right. That's right. Tonight is August 6th, which also means something to me, which would have been my grandmother's birthday, which she raised me and meant the world to me. I noticed today she would have been 114, I believe. She was a strong lady. So may she rest in peace as well. And I hope her and my mom's up there together having fun. That's all I can say. Now, August 6, 2025, and we're going to get to this video, Mr. Scare Mister on TikTok, I found. And then I researched this story. And I want y'all to know it is a trigger warning. It's a very sad story, but it's horrible. And again, I hope there's some lessons to be learned in here. So I'll just say we're going to get to the video first. And I have another news video. We'll get to that later, but let's do this first. Uh-oh, hold on. I got to make sure it's on. Oh, got the wrong thing. Hold on.
Beat, he gets shot. He runs outside trying to get away from them. They wrestle him back into the house. They wrestle him back in there. They shoot him again. They put him in the bathroom. They try to break his kneecaps so that they can fold him into a sleeping bag. After they did all that to this child, they took him out back and they burnt his body.
After they burned his body in a backyard fire pit, they shoveled his ashes into paint cans. Michael Bargo, dating Amber Wright at the time and the one who fired the fatal shots, was sentenced to death. Amber, her brother Kyle, Charlie Ely, and Justin Soto were all sentenced to life.
Deep down, I'm not a monster. I mean, I made bad mistakes, I made decisions, but the way everything is portrayed, I mean, it's horrible. So I guess I can be placed in that category.
Hey, beautiful.
But it hurts.
Hi, Moonflower.
But that's what they look at me.
Seth wanted to talk to my sister, and they come in the house, and I don't like the kid completely because he has put his hands on my sister. Okay, and I hit him over the head with a stick.
Who'd you hit?
Seth.
Okay.
And he was in the chair, and I got in the kitchen. I said, "Now get the fuck out the house."
So we definitely got some trigger warnings that's going to be going on. And let me get this off of here. I'm sorry, y'all. We definitely have some trigger warnings that's going to be going on. And again, if you need to step away, I do understand that. This story, whew, you know, I named it Lured by Love and Killed by Hate. that about pretty much sums it up, honestly. This is the Seth Jackson case, and it's very shocking. There's a lot of betrayal in here that ended a teenager's life. This teenager was 15 years old. It rocked the entire community. Amber Wright, she was the girl you seen in prison right there. And I'm going to try to break this down and explain it to you. Amber Wright and Seth Jackson were both at the center of this whole thing. It was so tragic and everything, and you'll see why they were like the main ones. Of course, he was the victim. This happened back in 2011 in Summerfield, Florida. Now, Summerfield is down in Marion County, which is down by Ocala, or Ocala is in Marion County. By the way, I'm going down there I don't want to say when, but I'm going down there and a few days, and I'll be putting some flyers up. So if Seth comes in here, which this is very triggering, but if he comes in here, I wish he would get in touch and let me know which flyers exactly he wants me to print, because I got to print some new ones, by the way. Anyway, Summerfield is in Marion County, and it generally is considered a fairly decent place to live. And those wanting, like in Florida, lower living and, lower cost of living, I should say, and stuff like that. I mean, that's the perfect place. It's unincorporated. The community is. And it's right there by Ocala. That's where most would go to shop, to get your groceries and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, this horrible, horrific thing happened, and they really wasn't used to anything like this, or definitely wasn't prepared for anything like this, nor should they have been. This definitely is going to be a trigger warning again if you're just coming in. But pure hatred and pure evilness. And this is also in my opinion, but it's true if you read it. It changed everything. Again, he was lured by love and killed by pure hate. Make it make sense. Can you make that make sense? This is the story of a teenager, of betrayal, of jealousy, of murder, of all the things. A boy who thought he was meeting his ex-girlfriend. Now listen, they're only 15 years old, okay, at the time. But think about this, okay? He thought he was meeting his ex-girlfriend, and she lured him there. She called him to try to make things right, or whatever she told him, whatever she lured him there with. Here this 15-year-old is in love, okay? And he gets there. Again, his name is Seth Jackson, and the girl who helped lure him to his death, her name is Amber Wright. And I'm going to talk about it tonight. I'm going to talk about it. So just go ahead and hit the thumbs up, because we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Okay. The victim was only 15 years old. Seth was 15. He lived in Summerfield, Florida. He was described by all of his friends as loyal, trusting, and full of life. They said he loved to skateboard, and he was very close to his family. And he was in a on again, which I can't really wrap my mind around this. Right, Mike? This is crazy. This story gets so upsetting. So they said he loved skateboarding and he loved his family and all that, but he was in this is what I can't wrap my mind around, but hey, we were all 15 once, and I sure ain't one to talk. But anyway, he was, in this on and off relationship with this girl named Amber Wright. And have you ever known? I know that y'all have known people and you've trusted someone and you've trusted the wrong person. And if you have, you can drop a broken heart, because I think that's happened to everybody. This hits home, and it's going to probably hit home. I know I can imagine at 15 years old, what he was thinking or feeling, but he was just a young boy. It makes me think of Sebastian. Sebastian's was 15 when he went missing, turned 16. I have 4 boys. I have a grandson. I understand my kids are grown, what boys are, but he thought he was in love, and, he was starting to find himself. His feelings were there. 15 is not an easy age for boys. It's not. Especially, in my opinion, they're still growing. Their brain's not fully developed. I'm sorry, it's just not. Their voice deepens. They may have body changes. Their friends and stuff like that become important to them, at least what they think is important. They start spending less and less time with family, and they're trying to get their emotions out. Again, I know I got 4 boys. I know. Believe it or not, I used to also be 15 once. But look, falling in love, whether you want to call it puppy love, first love, whatever kind of love, it's in his mind, he was in love with this girl named Amber, and that's a whole different story. So Amber, I'm going to break it down to you, was Seth's ex-girlfriend, okay? Amber was also 15 years old, to my understanding. So again, it doesn't matter, first love, puppy love, whatever, make it make sense. You can't. 15-year-old Amber starts then, I guess her and Seth get in a tiff, they break up. Amber starts dating this 18-year-old Michael Bargo, and he hated Seth, okay? He could not stand him. He tells you in the video we just watched, I hated him. So that's pure hate right there. So Amber messaged Seth to talk and make up, allegedly. And it was all a trap. It was just a trap. That's right, Moonflower. 15 was hard. 15 is a hard age. It really is. For girls and boys, it really is. So then she led Seth to the very place at the home that he would be ambushed, beaten, shot, and burned. Why, in God's name, would somebody want to do that to another human being? I don't know. Have you ever seen a situation where jealousy turned toxic? Because I have. Even deadly, I have. Just had a friend of ours, but it was probably about 5 years ago right here in this city. DOA because of something like this. But of course they were older and they definitely knew better. But let's talk about it. That's why I don't care what you do and I don't care what you say. I'm just not the jealous type. I can't stand it, whether it has to do with anything about life or anything about whatever. The blooming flowers out there. Jealousy gets you nowhere. It's toxic and it's deadly. period. And Mike's right. It turns you into nothing but bullies. It can definitely cost you your life, that's for sure. And sometimes jealousy comes from insecurity. Well, again, we were all just kids, right? Well, I don't know. I know there's a lot of insecure people out here, but I'm not one of them. One thing you should, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I can't tell anybody how to raise their kids, but one thing in my opinion you should always teach your kids, especially nowadays, is not to be jealous. Jealousy can manifest. It can be aggression toward their siblings, their peers. When a child feels insecure about losing attention, they start to get aggressive. It's the truth. And it turns into bullying. Jealousy can be a trigger for bullying behavior as children. And they try to tear down others so they can feel better about themselves. Period. There's so many other reasons, but we would be here all day if we tried to go into it. So I hate that. I hate that. And jealousy played a big part in this case, if you ask me. So please try to teach your children that when you're teaching them not to bully and you're teaching them the other things. Teach them not to be jealous too. We have to teach our children these things. Hey, Pebbles, welcome in. So they lured this 15-year-old young man over there, first under false pretenses and just later just pure hate and evil. Now it's fixing to get real, y'all, real triggering. On April 20, let's see, I don't know what date it was, 2011, but I don't know, I'm not sure of the date, but anyway, it was in April. Seth walked into Charlie, and if anybody has that, let me know, because I don't know the exact date, but he walked into Charlie Eli's house. Now, Charlie is a girl. I come to find that out. Charlie Eli's house, where that whole group was waiting. That was just another friend, and we'll get to her. Well, I'll get to her in a minute, okay? But he was brutally beaten by Cal Hooper. That was Amber's brother, okay? And Justin Soto. And then the 18-year-old, the Bargo guy, he shoots Seth multiple times. Not once. Once wasn't good enough. He had to do it multiple times. Seth still was very strong. Seth tried to crawl away, and they would drag him back. Mike says 15 and 18 is a big age difference at that age. Yeah, that guy knew better. But anyway, but and I don't like to blame it on the parents, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't like anything blamed on parents that kids do. Again, you could have 10 and one go the wrong way. So I don't like to put that on them. And I hate it when people do that. Although it is how, partially how they're raised and stuff like that. So don't get me wrong on that. But that's not, y'all know what I'm saying. But anyway, Seth tries to crawl away and they keep dragging him back. They don't stop. They burn his body in this fire pit, y'all. His remains are put in a paint bucket. Think about that. In a freaking paint bucket and dumped in this rock quarry somewhere. So here's your leaders right here. You got Michael Bargo. He's the shooter and the damn ringleader. Now, he's 18. They put him on death row. Okay? And he's the youngest, they're talking about, well, he's the youngest on Florida's death row. Well, He knew what he did. That's all I'm going to say. Amber Wright, she lured Seth. She has life in prison without parole. Kyle Hooper, that's Amber's brother. He got life in prison. And Justin Soto, he helped with the murder and he got life in prison. Now, Charlie, the girl Charlie Eli, she's the one that provided the location. That's where everything happened. She was released after 9 years. 9 years. And she got a plea deal. What they did to this young man, there is no words, in my opinion. It's unthinkable. Seth's parents continue to speak out, or they did in the last couple of years. I think not now. They were so heartbroken. The community was stunned. How could teens commit something so evil? I mean, we can't even imagine if a parent or a grown-up does this. This is what these children got together and did, with the exception of the ringleader, the 18-year-old. Amber, though, Amber was supposed to care about this young man. She was supposed to love this young man, puppy love, first love, whatever love. She was smiling in some of her court appearances. No regard for life. Absolutely none. And when there's something I can't stand, okay? We got a book here, and I'm sure everybody's got some kind of book or papers or something. And if you go in the store and you buy it, I forgot what it's called here. I hadn't got one in a long time. But if you get it, it has all the mug shots on it, what all they did, and blah, 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 blah. I forgot what Bay County Press, I think is what it's called. I can't remember what it's called here. But anyway, used to get those and just shameful, I guess to say. I used to get those and we would sit there at my job and when we were bored, look at them and see who come in looking all crazy with the mug shots and stuff. I guess not a very proud moment, I should say, but I ain't gonna lie about it. I mean, that's what we did. But one thing I hate, and I have always hated, even when they don't even, I don't think they put them in the newspaper anymore, but when they put them, busted in Virginia is what they call them. Yeah, well, it's something like that. And it's a whole freaking week's worth of magazine, a book. And I just stopped getting them because they get more, they cost more, which is stupid. But anyway, I cannot stand to see a mugshot or anything in a newspaper where anybody, whether they're found guilty or not, is getting their mugshot and they're smiling or smirking. That's just like flipping a bird off. I can get away with it. I'm going to get away with it. I got away with it. Or I'm happy I did it. I'm very proud. I don't know. Something rubs me the wrong way with that. But she goes into court and she's smiling after all of this evil was done on her friend, somebody she's supposed to care about. After they did this to a human life. This case became a warning sign about teen violence, online manipulation, and emotional inhumanity, because that's what it was, inhumane. And it had deadly consequences. How can you smile about anything like this? You were there, you saw it, you took part of it. How can you smile? We talk a lot about red flags, but Seth Seth's case shows how deep betrayal can really go when people are jealous. They get manipulative. Sorry. And then they let rage take a hold. Teenagers are not immune to this evil either. I'm sorry, but they're not. And sometimes the person you trust the most is the one who walks you to your grave. You can believe that. Teens, they're not immune to evil. They're not immune to hate. They're not immune to jealousy. They're not immune to hurt or harm. You know? Moonflower says, that irritates me. Yeah, it irritates the crap out of me. And mine too, not crazy. Mine too. But at the very same time, teens are very capable of everything I just mentioned to you. And obviously, we just heard some of it. But Amber Wright, let's get back to Miss Amber Wright. She was 15 years old. But look, she knew right from wrong. There's no doubt. Hey, she had that street life, in my opinion, right? I agree, Mike. And listen, somebody came to me. I don't know if it was a troll earlier on this when I posted it. Not this one, but it was when I posted the TikTok one, and they said something like, I mean, it's still out there. It says something like, God watched this, God did this, or something. Okay. I'm not one to step on anybody's beliefs. You can be an atheist, you can believe in God, but I don't care what you believe in. I hope you get right with whoever your maker is. And I don't like to talk religion on here or whatever, but sometimes I do. But here's the thing. I thought about it just a minute. So those are definitely my words from my heart. And I posted it. And I said, because see, I always have a hard time explaining it. I had a preacher to explain to me one time that. So, but I'm just going to say it since you brought that up, Mike. And God don't fail us. We as humans fail God. I think that's more the way people need to start looking at it. See, drunk drivers, how do I want to say that? Drunk drivers. Or a kid don't get hit, or a person don't get hit by a drunk driver. But the person, y'all know what I'm saying, the person that's drinking is behind the wheel. God didn't do that. You did it. You took that drink. You did that, not God. God gives everybody free will. What you do with it, that's up to you. But that's enough of my preaching. That's enough of my preaching. But that's basically, in a nutshell, believe or don't believe. That's up to you too. You know, it's kind of like you have that boat sent to you. You're out there drowning and you miss the boat about 5 times. Well, you're going to drown, right? That's you. That's you. If you can't see that big old boat out there, well, God sent it to you 5 times. It circled you like a shark. Well, what do you mean you didn't see it? I guess that's more of what I'm saying. You know. But Amber, she was 15. She knew right from wrong. And she knew at the time of Seth Jackson's murder, April 2011, that despite being a juvenile, she was doing wrong. So they tried her as an adult. She was tried as an adult. And the state of Florida, which Florida ain't nothing to play with. I'm just going to tell you they ain't. Y'all can think what you want to think. Keep thinking it. But due to the severity and the premeditation and all that, they gave her life, even though she was very young. They paired her with the betrayal of someone she once, or compared her with the betrayal of someone she once dated. And that's what made the case. And it made it so much more shocking to the public. But Amber Wright, she got convicted of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. 15 years old. Can you imagine? You got one victim, 15, and you got a 15-year-old who has torn so many lives apart, including their own. I mean, convicted, first-degree murder, and conspiracy to commit murder. Okay, she had an original sentence in 2012, life in prison without parole, but she was in 2017 resentenced. She was resentenced to life in prison again, but this time she gets to be reviewed after 25 years. You know, they changed that law. And due to the U.S. Supreme Court ruling, Miss Miller versus Alabama, mandatory life sentences without parole for juveniles were ruled unconstitutional. So that's why she had to be resentenced again and at least given the chance in 25 years to go in front of a parole board. That don't mean she'll get out, but at least that's what they do. They said that she would have the potential for rehabilitation. You know, potential. So she'll be eligible for parole in 2036. She'll be somewhere in her early to mid 40s. And she's currently, they might have moved her. I thought she was at Lowell, but that's in Ocala, but I think they moved her. I meant to look that up and I forgot where they moved her to. I don't think she's in Lowell anymore. In my opinion, I think she did this at such a young age. This is just my opinion, that I think she would do it again. And because of all the factors and stuff like that, you know, I know people can change, even bad people, and I love to see people change. And I have nothing against people that has done time in prison or jail. I have nothing against those people if they get out and show their change. Okay? The only people I have something against is when they hurt children. But Amber, in my opinion, personally, I don't think she deserves to ever get out. Ever. And that's my opinion. Good thing I'm not on the board. See, because my opinion don't count. She was also a manipulator. She can manipulate anyone. And think about all these years in prison. You learn more in prison than you do on the outside, honestly. So, again, Michael was the mastermind. He was the shooter. Kyle was Amber's half-brother. Justin helped beat and restrain him. And Charlie, the girl, helped. She's the one that provided the house. Now, Amber Wright was one of the youngest females in Florida also to receive a life sentence for murder, even with a sentence review ahead. The role, though, she calculated was so brutal. It was so brutal of Seth Jackson. It has left a lasting mark on the justice system and the public's memory. Michael, the mastermind person, The 18-year-old, again, he's the youngest on death row. He was the youngest sentenced to death row, I guess I should say. Let's get to the family backgrounds, okay, of the teens involved in Seth Jackson's murder, especially Amber Wright and Michael's and Cal's, okay? And, well, others, we'll just provide all the insight because there's a lot of chaos going on here and a lot of dysfunction going on here and a lot of lack of supervision. I think that was, y'all could tell that in the beginning. When 14 and under, it's hard if it was a judge time. My thoughts mandatory till 60 years old. Right. And you know, but now she's got the chance, Mike. She can, and she'll probably end up getting out. She'll you know, she probably will. But hey, you know, I don't know. That's just my thoughts. I'm too hard sometimes. I am. I know. If it was mine, I wouldn't be that hard. I know. But again, you know, you do the crime, you got to do the time. I don't care who you are. Mine, yours, theirs, me, you. I never, ever like to blame the parents. As I said, nobody's perfect, and you can have 10 kids and one can go astray. But here, I got to wonder what in the hell was happening here. I really do, because I dug this up. I mean, what in the hell? So it's wild, and we're going to go into that too. Y'all can put what you think. You can put your opinions down. I'm not going to be mad at nobody. I just think it's wild. The family backgrounds of the teens and all this is public, involved in Seth's murder, especially Amber Wright and Michael. You know, we're going to go into all that. Okay, so Amber and Kyle, they are half brother and sister. Amber and Kyle shared the same mother, but had different fathers. Not that that really matters, but I'm just giving y'all the lowdown on everything. Because their home life, it said, was just very unstable, with signs of dysfunction and poor supervision. Well, we know they had poor supervision. That's a fact. And I'm just going to say if it was, and I know I raised a granddaughter for 5 years, so I know it, especially if it's a little girl, they might have been, hey, your brother's with you or whatever. No, I'm sorry. But where was the parents' authority when this young girl, Amber, was out doing everything she was doing? I'm just wondering. So according to trial testimony and all the interviews, Amber and Kyle were allowed to hang out with the older teens as well. They were allowed not only to hang out with them, but to drink, to smoke, and to stay out late, despite being 15 and 16 years old. Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much, Mike. Woo, thank you, Mike. I appreciate you. So, I mean, they already allowed them to drink, to smoke. I mean, what kind of parents is that? Seriously, what kind of parents is that? I mean, I know some do. And you might be sitting right here in my audience. That's fine. If I love you, I love you. If I don't, I don't. But I'm just saying, look what this has led to. Just look. I'm telling you, it's not right. It's not right. And look, and I know in most states, I'm going to tell you something right now. I know in most states, and marijuana, and people get on here and smoke it. You might smoke it. I've had a puff or two in my younger days. I don't like it. I don't like it. Okay? I don't like it. It puts me to sleep. I don't want to go to sleep. I don't want to miss a damn thing. I don't want to miss nothing. I don't want to miss a thing. My point is, even years and years ago, parents would smoke weed or whatever with their kid. Okay. That's you if you want to. But I don't think that's such a good idea. But that's just me. That's just me. But I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's going to make or break them. But it sure is not giving them you're not being a good influence on them. Let's just say that. So you got to take into account what you want to show your kids. Either they want to be or they don't want to be. That's just my opinion. It doesn't matter that it's right, that it's wrong. And I know people live by do as I say and not as by I do, or however you say that. Yeah, actions speak louder than words. But, y'all know, when it comes to kids, especially these days, right is right. I mean, you got to teach them right, or this is what you get. This is all I'm saying. And according to the trial and the testimony and the interviews and all that, they were allowed to do all these things at 15 and 16 years old. Okay. And there was claims of emotional abuse and neglect. And their mother, she was there. She defended them publicly, but she was also criticized, just like anybody else would have been, for not recognizing the red flags in these children. Because that's what they are, or were, as children. So don't forget one important thing. They were minors. Both were minors. I'm talking about Amber and Seth. And no guardian stepped in to stop them from being around people like this, first of all. Michael Bargo, who was an adult and repeatedly had a violent temper, that should have been a red flag. He was the mastermind. But that didn't bother some people's parents. Maybe their parents didn't know about it. Can't blame the parents for everything, though, right? You just can't. That's why I don't like it. But it is right. There's a major lack of teaching and taking accountability. Right, exactly. But Bargo himself, he had a troubled past. He had a violent background. He was 18 years old at the time of the murder, and he had a documented, now listen to this, y'all. He was 18, violent. Okay. He had a documented history of mental illness, which included, and I'm not blaming this on mental illness by any means. I want y'all to listen. He was 18. I'm going to repeat this. He was 18. He had a troubled past. He had a violent past. I'm telling you again, he was violent. Did any of his past contribute to that? I don't know. But I'm telling you, it's documented in its history way before he got to court, way before this, that he had mood disorders. He was schizophrenic. Well, he had schizophrenic tendencies. He had anger issues. And his relationship with his father was strained. Again, I don't like blaming the parents, but okay. That's what it said. There was reports of abuse and neglect at home. His mother testified at sentencing about his mental health struggles, trying to argue against the death penalty because he got the death penalty, remember? Now, this is just Smiley. this is just Smiley. And sometimes I can't help myself. But this is where I go, oh, Mommy, you want to step up and speak out now? I'm sorry, but what the F off? Really? Michael was considered dangerously unstable. Really? He had hospital records and all. Where was his mother then? That's all I'm saying. Really? Now she wants to speak up against it? What? Why? Why? Because someday his life might be taken and she ain't even going to be there probably to see it when it is. That's just me. I'm sorry. Michael was considered dangerously unstable by people he knew, and he had an obsession with Amber Wright, and he hated Seth, and he had all this anger and everything had built up over time. That's what was told. That's what was said. Mike said, my sisters never investigate their kids and grandkids' friends well enough or what they are doing online. I know you have to. God, I can't even tell you how many times I have stressed that over and over again. You know, God, I'm just glad my kids are grown. I'm sorry. I really am. But still, then you got to worry about the others, you know. And it's unbelievable what's out here and you see. And then you go, well, I know this and now I know that. And I even have more knowledge. And so you have to, you know, and it's like, well, you'll think if this is you someday. I'm just saying. Let's hope it never gets to that. But listen, they knew, his friends knew, his parents knew, his community knew. Where was everybody at then? And why was these young kids able to hang around him? I know back in my day, you know, well, my family pretty much loved everybody. But if there was somebody really, really, really bad, you know, we were definitely warned to stay away from, you know, people. Whether we did or not, I don't know, but I'm just saying. And it's the same thing here. Where were these parents? Charlie Eli, let's talk about her. Let's talk about Charlie. She was 18 too. Charlie was 18 at this time as well. Okay. And her house was used at the crime scene. And as the crime scene, that's where he was lured at. Her parents owned the home, but they were not living there at the time. Don't know why, don't know where. I just know that Charlie was living there. And she had reportedly been living by herself, hanging out with this group of teens on a regular basis. Her family supported her during the trial, and she later accepted a plea deal. She claimed she didn't know the full extent of the plan. Okay. I have a hard time believing that, but hey, again, we don't know. It's very possible because I'm telling you, kids are evil and it's very possible, but she was 18 again. Did she know? Did she know the full extent of it? I don't know. I don't think maybe she knew they were going to torture and do him like that, honestly. But what was the plan to get him there with? Why were they? No, she had to know. Because why were they trying to get him there anyway? Why? What was the reasoning they needed him to come back there? They knew Amber wasn't going to get back with him because she was with Mike. Then you got Justin Soto. I heard that last name and I'm like, Lord, honey, wonder if they're any kin. And that was just my first thought. I thought, no wonder we got problems here if they are. I'm just saying. I don't know. I didn't deep dive. I just said that name. Yeah, they knew what they were doing. They knew. She knew. She knew. Because why else would they try to get him there? So Justin Soto, I couldn't find as much on him. Now listen, guess how old he was? He was 20 years old. He was the oldest one involved. 20 years old. These kids are hanging out with 20 years old and 18 years old. So Justin was 20 years old. He was the oldest involved aside from the mastermind there, Bargo, whatever his name is. And he was described as very quiet, and he just was willing to follow along with everybody. That's what they try to say. But this 20-year-old, he had prior legal run-ins with the law, and he was always running with the wrong crowd. Now, in a small community like that, I'm surprised either they just didn't know it or they just didn't care. And I'm talking about parents. Again, I don't like to blame the parents. I don't know the situation. But, again, I'm just saying. There were indications that he lacked structure and guidance growing up. Okay, well, a lot of us did, but we didn't choose to go out and do this, right? These were not kids from solid, supportive homes. This is what I'm trying to tell you. They most come from broken families with histories of neglect and abuse and mental health struggles. So how big of a part did that play? I don't know. I'm just breaking it down for you. I don't know. Most of these kids were unsupervised. They were allowed to roam the streets. They were allowed to mix with people way older than them. People that were it wasn't even about the age. People that were more dangerous, that were dangerous. So the lack of parental guidance here, and toxic relationships and all that, it was just a bunch of chaos and a bunch of escalating violence everywhere, and it was exploding everywhere. That's my opinion. It became this huge mixed up in a mixer recipe for disaster, like you're baking a cake and it just freaking exploded everywhere. Listen, when kids are neglected and abused and they have people who don't give a crap or notice things, that's when the parents become accountable, in my opinion. And that, that's what happened here. Nobody gave a crap. Now look. Amber's mother, again, all this is public knowledge. Her name is Tracy Wright. She testified during the trial, and she had briefly had interacted with law enforcement regarding Amber's case. But there's no real information about whether she visits Amber, whether she regularly goes there, or anything at all. I assume, and this is just me assuming, I assume she didn't take care of Amber. Then why would she visit her now? Amber can't do nothing for her. So I'm just wondering. I'm assuming, but that don't mean she don't visit. Cal, Justin, and Michael, they remain in state custody. Their families are largely absent from the media coverage beyond the trial reporting. There's no reporting attendance from family members at parole boards or hearings for them. Now let's get to Charlie again. Charlie. She was released June of 2020. After her conviction was vacated, she pleaded second-degree murder and time served. She earned her release over 9 years in prison. That's what she got, 9 years. No public updates on her, really. I think she should have got longer, but again, that's just me. Listen, I'm not the judge and the jury. I can only tell y'all how I feel. Nobody can take my feelings away from me. But these prison visitation records, they're all private and all that. So, all that stuff. The families involved have kept a low profile. That ended over a decade ago. There's very limited interviews and stuff like that. Tracy Wright, though, Amber's mother, and she's also the mother of Amber's half-sibling, which is Kyle. And she was a key witness during the trial, and she reportedly cooperated with the law enforcement during the early stages of the investigation. Tracy was there at trial. She did support Amber. She supported her daughter during the trial, though I have to wonder, is that because she thought she may be in trouble? I'm just asking. I'm just asking questions. I'm like, y'all, I'm just asking questions. But Tracy publicly supported her daughter, and then there was mixed reactions from the public for that, I guess. During Amber's resentencing in 2017 under the juvenile sentencing reforms, Tracy, again, her mother, spoke in her defense, and she argued that Amber had the capability to be rehabilitated. So she did speak on her behalf. And after media coverage died down, though, Tracy withdrew from the public eye. There's no real information on her and where her mother's at, or anything after the resentencing. And that was in 2017. So I don't know if she's there for her or not. I don't know if they stay in contact by letters or not. I don't know. But since her release, Charlie, has maintained a very low profile. She went very low. Now, but here's the thing. She got her chance. This is what I know about Charlie. Charlie got married. Okay? She got married to a guy named Joseph. That's all I'm going to say about that. You can do your own research. Since he knows, I'm sure, but since he didn't have nothing to do with it, I won't put his name out there. Although it's public record. So she got married to this guy named Joseph. And she married him, from my understanding, prior to her being incarcerated. So it's unclear if they're even still together or not. And that's another reason I don't want to put his name out there, because I don't want to bring him any attention. But Eli, she pretty much went off the social grid. They say she resides in Lakeland, Florida, but it hasn't been verified beyond reporting. So I don't know. I just know that Seth didn't get to live his life. Seth didn't get to get married. Seth didn't get to have children and all that kind of stuff. So it must be nice to be able to get married while either before prison, during prison, or after prison, after you commit a crime like that. That's my thoughts on that. And go all over beautiful Florida and just be free to live your life wherever you want to after taking part in something so heinous as a crime of this 15-year-old that was murdered by them. That's my opinion. No confirmed reports place her in the spotlight of any work or anything she's done since she's got out to advocate. No media involvement. And again, I don't know. I don't know where Charlie is. I hope Charlie's sleeping well. That's what I can tell you. She's probably changed her name to Charlene by now. I'm just saying, I don't know where she's at or what she's doing. Too bad Seth didn't get that chance. Mike says, I was no saint, believe me, but when my friends were up no good. And she, yeah, and look, Mike, same. I guess, I don't know. I was just born with that. I don't know. Look, I can still this day be around anybody. But if you get that gut feeling, I don't care what they're doing. You know when it's time to get the heck up and giddy up out of there. You know when it's time. You know right from wrong. You got common sense. It's up to you if you use it or not. Now, do some people get caught in the crossfire in the wrong place at the wrong time? Yes. But that's a whole different story. That's not what we're talking about. But Mike's right. I'm sorry. None of us were saints, and we were all born sinners, honey. And I was a slow learner too. I'm still a slow learner. And I'm serious. Sometimes it may take me a month, and you can ask some of my mods, and something will hit me, and I'll go, oh, yes. Remember XYZ, so-and-so, and so-and-so. And I have to be hands-on works better for me. It just does. So it is what it is, you know. But you got to have that. Everybody's got a little common sense. It's whether you use it or not. You know? Yeah, I have to put my hands on it, really, Mike. I just have to, you know, or some maybe talk, you know, and that's why I love going back through these videos sometimes. And I love people playing them over and over because you don't catch things right then. I don't. I don't. I'm slow. But listen, I don't know. I just hope this girl, Charlie, I hope you're living your best life wherever you're at. More power to yourself. Oh, and did I mention? No, I did not. I did not. This was just the cherry on top. Charlie, okay, Charlie's the one that got out of jail. I don't think I can find that now. Hold on. I want to find that picture so bad. Guess who her attorney was? Charlie's attorney was Jose Baez. So the reason I say that is I have a cute little picture of him somewhere, and I didn't see none of Charlie's family there, and I didn't see Charlie's husband there. Now that I speak of that, but there was a picture of Jose Baez there when she got out of prison, and they were hugging. And I'm not saying anything bad about that. I'm just saying, listen, Mr. Baez, I'm fixing to advertise for you, Mr. Jose Baez. You know, he called it bittersweet. Okay. And damn, he must be a real good attorney. He really must be a real good attorney. You know, we all know he was in Casey's case. But and here's the thing. Yeah, don't mind sending me anything, Mr. Baez. Don't mind. I'm, you know, just telling you or whatever. I'm giving you free publicity here, sir. But he must be good. I'll give him that. And he was there to give her a hug and greet her and get her out of prison. Gotta love Jose Baez, man. He's so up close and personal and so hands-on. And if you do a crime or whatever, just call him, no matter how heinous it is. Jose Baez will be right by your side, honey. He will literally be there when you get out of the pokey, honey, with hugs and all. Special service. Y'all drop Jose Baez's link. I want people to tell them Smiley sent him over there, honey. He's a hands-on person. No matter what it is. I should have tagged him in this. This is how Smiley feels. I'm sorry. Now, listen. Seth's parents. We're going to talk about Seth Jackson. I wonder if she will live with him too. I don't know. I don't know, Mike. She might have. Come to think of it, she might. Jesus. She might have her another sister down here in Florida. They could be roommates. I am just saying, Lord, she must have a friend or two, you know, Lord have mercy, in that circle. That's all I'm going to say. Gosh. But Seth's parents, his parents are named Scott and Sonia Jackson. You know what? I really feel sorry for them. I'm not going to say anything. I feel sorry. I do. I feel sorry for them. Words can't say what they did to their son, you know, but he had the mom and the dad, and he had two older brothers, Scott Jr. and Stephen. And Seth was born February 3rd, 1996, and he was raised in Summerfield, Florida. The most recent thing I have, I think, is this video that I'm going to show y'all was probably, I don't know if that's the very last, I don't know if that was the one. Now, I got the one where she come out of court and you're going to see her speak, but there was one in 2013. Okay, so yeah, I think that's the one she spoke in the jury, because I got that one, and we're going to watch that one in just a minute. But although Sonia and Scott were present during the trials and the hearings, they have also just kind of went off the grid, and I don't blame them at all. I don't blame them at all. So let's watch. Hold on. I'm going to turn this on. We'll watch this little clip. Now, this is the victim's mom, Seth's mom.
Welcome to our 2-minute evac chair virtual demo. This video is going to show you why the evac chair
of the jury by a vote of 10-2 advised
That's the 18-year-old.
that it opposed the death penalty upon Michael J. Bargo Jr.
Right now at 6, the jury recommends the death penalty for 21-year-old Michael Bargo.
10 of 12 jurors decided Bargo should die by lethal injection for the murder of 15-year-old Seth Jackson.
Watch 2's Dave McDaniel was in the Marion County courtroom and joins us now. And Dave, it is now up to the judge to decide whether to take the jury's recommendation.
Well, it is up to the judge. He has the final decision when it comes to punishment in any case involving the possibility of the death penalty. But also, the jury recommendation carries a lot of weight, and the judge by law has to give it great weight. And a 10-2 vote is not exactly unanimous, but it is a very large voice. Now, again, that jury was out deliberating their recommendation to the judge for a little over 6 hours this afternoon after hearing closing arguments this morning, where the state clearly said that this was a case where the death penalty was appropriate. They said that Michael Bargo was the leader of this group that lured 15-year-old Seth Jackson to a home in Marion County, that they beat him, that they shot him, that they burned his body and disposed of that body in a limestone pit. Well, the defense basically said that Michael Bargo wasn't the leader of anybody and that he suffered from mental illness, and that life in prison would be punishment enough. Like the other 4 people involved in this case, they all are serving life in prison. Now, once that recommendation from the jury was read aloud in court, each juror was polled to see if that was in fact their decision. They said it was. And then we spoke with Seth Jackson's mother just moments ago.
Why are you satisfied?
Well, because we finally got justice for our son.
Did you have any question in your mind how the jury would rule in this?
Well, yes, of course. But, you know, it could go either way depending on how they felt about the situation. But he made his choice when he took Seth's life.
I spoke with Sonia Jackson a few weeks ago when the jury selection was just starting in this case, and I asked her whether or not, since this was the 5th of the defendants involved in this case, whether she was going to feel any sense of relief when we got to this day. And she pointed out that each and every parent involved in this case lost their children too. But again, this ends at least one chapter for her. She no longer will have to sit in court much longer to hear all of the grisly details of what happened to her son. But there still is a process that goes on. A judge set a Spencer hearing for this September 11th, in fact, where he will listen to any last arguments the defense wants to make about why the death penalty should not be imposed. And then sometime after that, the judge will actually hand down a sentence for Michael Bargo. Reporting live in Ocala, Marion County, Dave McDaniel, West 2 News.
Yep, that's right, Mike. You're absolutely right. So, yeah, let me get this off here. I'm sorry I do this every time. But yeah, I mean, I don't even know how that mom's walking, to tell you the truth. But I wanted to remember Seth Jackson tonight, and not just because he was the victim, and he definitely was of this terrible, horrific, there's not even words, because he was a 15-year-old boy. He had dreams. He trusted the wrong people, and his whole life was taken. It's just unimaginable. It's unimaginable. But I want this story to remind all of us that evil doesn't always wear a mask. Evil exists. And sometimes evil, it will smile you right in the face. Sometimes it takes you to your own grave. It does. It walks you there. I said it before, it'll walk you right to your grave. And sometimes it comes from the very people that we love and that we claim to care about, or that claims to care about us the most. So may Seth and his soul rest in peace, and may his story continue. Hopefully it will wake people up before any tragedy strikes again. Y'all can like, share, put candles in the thing, or whatever you want to do. But I just know that this is, for me, more evil, and people need to know what evil is really out there in this world, because there's real evil in this world, and people need to open their eyes. They need to stay aware, and they need to know everyone is not your friend. And if your gut tells you something, you need to listen to your gut. And I'm serious. That's just my advice. Thank you. And Miss Ann, you'll have to come up here and talk to us about that and show what you want to. And we'll have to see some more. Y'all put my email down and we can talk about it. And, I just don't know. Mike, I didn't used to be for it at all, because I just didn't. But when I've seen the things that I've seen on here, I don't know, it just changed my mind real quick. All I can tell you is it's easier to say, even for me, I know this. There's two things I wouldn't want to be on a jury with a case like this, or I wouldn't want to be on a jury where I had to decide if somebody got the death sentence. Let's put it like that. And I would not want the job of having to do that. So God bless them. Everybody has a job, you know, but that's not one that I would want. And especially for kids, because they are all kids. They were all kids. Hey, H. Davis and everybody coming in. So that's not a burden that I would want. Not in any way, shape, or form. And I hope that's something I never have to do. But anyway, I thank you all. Thank you for being here. And I will get that letter. Carolyn's still in here or not. And I'll try to set up something here shortly and read that. So how about that? Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this conversation and everything. You know, victims matter. Their voice matters. Stay safe and stay aware out there. Thank you.